all of these bigger mentors out there at the time said, you need multiple sources of income. And here I am being a knucklehead freshman, like, I don't need that. I don't need a. So I got rid of a very strong and healthy, income to play a game. Because to me, it was just a game.
Hey trader, welcome back. Brittany Hughes here, and we are here with another top tier interview. I'm really excited today with my guest, Chris DeStefano. Welcome to Top Tier Interview.
What's up? What's up?
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'm happy to have you here today.
Listen, I'm so excited to be here, especially look at this set. It's absolutely amazing.
I know, it's insane. I'm excited to have you here because, to be honest, this is the first time meeting you.
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely interested to know a bit. Not even a bit. I want to get into the nitty-gritty details of your journey because what you've been able to create for yourself, and we were just talking a little bit before this in terms of something that you just recently created, and you have some really exciting things going on, and I know that trading isn't learn the skill set that the next day, you're a wild overnight success. There's some story that we want to get into that got you to where you ultimately are right now. So
yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
get into it. I guess first and foremost, before we even touch on anything trading, I want to know what your life was like before you even knew that trading was something that you wanted to get into. What were you doing before trading?
I was actually working as a bodyguard, so that was my lifestyle. I was in law enforcement, and I did bodyguarding on the side. Okay. And that was it. It was so hectic. It was just literally going to the gym, just going to work, working in nightclubs, and then obviously working off duties, working in law enforcement, doing my thing. And I didn't know anything about trading. I didn't even know the world existed at all. So, working in the nightlife, it was just like, you're a musician and that's how you make it to money, or you're an athlete, or you're just like an old man business owner with like a hedge fund or something like that. And that was it. I didn't really know that there was any tools like trading.
And
whatsoever.
How did you get into that? Like, was it just an easy money that you just kind of stumbled into the job opportunity?
You know what? Some of my friends, they were trading crypto, and they kind of like, tried to get me in, but they weren't even serious about it. And one day I was actually just listening to music videos on YouTube where this commercial came on. It was an ad, and the ad was so good that I watched the entire thing and ended up buying the course at the end of the ad. They got me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a successful ad. That never happens. What was the course in? Was it in crypto?
No, it was in day trading Forex.
Oh, so that's how you discovered?
That's how I discovered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from there, in hindsight, did that course teach you some elements that you still carry today?
If you want me to be brutally honest, I barely did the course at all. I purchased it for $1,400, and then I logged in maybe a handful of times, and then I was just like, I know this. So I just jumped right in and just started trading and just donating my money to the market.
Ultimately. Yeah. But, okay, back it up a little bit. Before you discovered trading and while you were working in nightlife, in terms of where your life was going, were you fulfilled? Were you happy, or were you looking for something else at that time?
You know what? Like, I was transitioning out of working for a bodyguard agency, and I was starting my own. So I had enough with working with other people, for other people. I wasn't into it anymore, and I just felt like I wasn't valued as a person, as a human. Literally, it's just like, be where I need you to be right now, and if you're not there, you're fired, and this. And I was like, bro, like, I'm trying my best. So I was like, you know what? Let me try to create something for myself. So I actually created my own security agency, started from the ground up. And then our first year in business, we did the Super Bowl in Atlanta. So it was a major contract. So that was my first like real money that I had. It was different getting that type of money coming from that because I didn't really understand how it was coming in. I just signed a contract. Next thing you know, boom, big check. You got to fulfill all these, officers working at the Super Bowl. And it just wasn't like, it was like this. It was like a lottery ticket almost.
Okay. And then you said you saw an ad, discovered trading, and then didn't even bother doing the course. So
nope.
In terms of what re-exposed you, I guess, to trading for you to be like, okay, this is something I'm going to do? Or did you just completely say, I'm not going to do the course, and then you just started trading in the markets? blindly?
I just started trading, and I think for me the problem was transitioning into owning my own security agency, getting this huge contract. I had a bunch of money, so now I'm just like, oh, I can just throw money into the market. You know, it's fine if I lose 10,000. It's fine if I lose 20,000, whatever. Like I just kept doing that, and then it was like enough was enough. Like wow, oh my god, I can't believe this is adding up to like multiple six figures. What are we doing here?
Oh wow, of losing?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. And
wow.
it was over the course of like a year and a half, but it's like, wow, I'm just literally throwing money in the garbage. So it's about time that I actually take this kind of serious.
Yeah.
So then I went back and then did the course. And then at that point that I noticed that there was people on social media doing this. And I was like, whoa, like these guys are actually on social media and they look like me.
Yeah.
You know,
What year was that?
2018 into
Okay.
2019.
Okay. And what did seeing people, we were just talking about this as well, being able to see people who look like you, who are doing something that you have an interest in, and you're able to kind of make that correlation and connection. And that's why I really love doing these interviews, because for me personally, for me to, not necessarily in order for me to, but it definitely adds to my belief is when I see people that look like me, that have a similar story maybe to me or similar aspects of the story, then I can then put myself in that situation and be like, okay, if they can, then why can't I? Sort of
Exactly.
thing. So when you were looking online and seeing these people, is that kind of when you were like, okay, like this can be a real thing, I'm going to take it seriously?
Yeah, I think the first course that I got, they had flashy things, but I didn't relate to them whatsoever.
Okay.
These guys were in London, so I'm in the States. I'm in Florida. Don't relate to you, but I like the things that you have, and I like the things that you're doing. But you don't look like me at all. You don't talk like me. You don't listen to the same music. Like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So I think that's what turned me off from even doing the course in the first place, because I
Okay.
was like, I see you and you're teaching me, but like you don't know nothing about what I got going on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
get out of here. So I just
Yeah.
X'd them out automatically. So, you know, after I felt like I could just do it myself, you know, I'm a rebel, you know, then I discovered Q on Instagram and I was like, wait a minute, this guy literally has a smooth, you know, low boy. He had the waves and everything. And he's actually doing it, you know. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this course again before I buy his, because maybe there was something in this course that I missed out on, and I just, you know, I judged a book by its cover, and maybe there's something there. So then when I opened it up and I started doing the work, I still was uninterested because I felt like,
Because of who
bro,
was teaching you?
exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't relate to it, so I didn't even want to. It was almost like a chore, and as soon as I heard these people talk, I was just like,
Yeah.
so I just, it wasn't for me.
Okay. And so did you start teaching yourself or did you invest in another course? How did you kind of get on the road to profitability and maybe making up for all that year of losses?
I think like everyone does. YouTube University was a
Okay.
huge thing, and it's like you have to be so incredibly disciplined. There's a lot of great information on YouTube for free, but you know, a lot of people, they want to be spoon-fed. So the thing is with YouTube, I found great information, but there was too much information, and I just felt like I didn't know what route I wanted to specifically go in. And time after time after time, it's just Q kept popping up. Q kept popping up, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't know. So I bought someone else's course, and I got ripped off. I got ripped off because it was cheaper, and I was like, you know what? Like, you know, I'm doing all this for free. I just need
Yeah.
the one puzzle piece,
Yeah.
and I'm doing okay, but I need the one puzzle piece. So I went with this one guy. Once again, he kind of looked like me or whatever, but hey, here's my course. Okay, here's the money, and then gone, disappear, poof. And I was like, damn.
Oh.
So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this guy's course because he's in Florida, and if he does something, I'm gonna pull up
I'm
on him.
running up
I'm
on
gonna pull up on this guy. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
that's what it was. I just felt like you're here. I'll see you on the street somewhere.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
bound to run into one another.
Exactly.
Okay. I've said this in every interview, so if you're tuning into this interview and you've watched the previous ones, then I've kind of used this analogy as trading is just like going to university in terms of the amount of years it takes for, I wouldn't say the average person to, we all go through our freshman year, which maybe your freshman year for you was losing, upwards of six figures because you just figured out you can maybe do it on your own, and then you maybe learn the hard way that wasn't the road to take. Our sophomore year is we are a little bit more self-aware and understanding that like this is not going to be an overnight thing. And so maybe you seek guidance, mentorship, courses, whatever. Your junior year is your year where you are actually developing the habits, the skill set, the mindset that it requires to be a consistently profitable trader.
Yeah.
You're losing, but you're learning from your losses. Like you're just adapting this mentality. And then your senior year, hopefully you're at the point where you are not only have you learned these things, but like you're putting them into practice, and then you're gaining that. You can consider yourself a profitable trader, hopefully a consistently profitable trader. Would you say that when you finally came around to investing into Q's course, what stage were you at in your journey?
I think I was in the sophomore year.
Okay.
And the reason being is like I love the fact that you say that is because I'm thinking of it as I'm going to university out of state, and like I'm going buck wild when I'm out here. I am just an animal, you know what I mean? I'm a frat boy doing everything and anything. It don't even matter. And then I came to the conclusion, like, bro, like if I don't get together, I'm never gonna graduate. And I'm spending up my parents' money there, and I started to think of it that way because going back to the job that I have, it was very militant. You had to do this and that, and everything was very punctual on time. Like everything was just like. So now I'm diving into a life of just, hey, whatever you do is on you. It's your choice, your time, and there was too much freedom. And I think the misconception is people, you know. They spread this nonsense of, oh, trading is just you can do whatever you want, trade whenever you feel like it, and it's not like that. I literally thought, hey, you know what, bro, I need $300. Let me just hop on the computer and just get me bro. You gotta wait and be patient for the opportunity to get the $300. So it's still like a job in the sense that you have to treat it like an on-call job, you know. And I tell people that all the time. Trading is an on-call thing. Not just, hey, you know what? I need some money to go on a vacation. Let me just real quick. It's not necessarily like that at all.
Can you explain what you mean by an on-call thing? I think that's really interesting.
So, you know, like you have to be patient and wait for the setup to come to you. And, you know, with my students, I tell them it's like surfing. If I'm surfing and I'm going out into the ocean, I'm paddling out on my surfboard, I have to sit there and wait for the wave to come to me, and then I paddle up the wave and ride the wave down. You know, so with trading, you have to wait for the setup to brew up like the wave in the ocean as a surfer, and you're looking back like, all right, the wave is coming. Let me start paddling. Let me get prepared. But you're in the ocean waiting. You're not at home like, yo, I'm about to catch this wave. Let me just jump. Like, it doesn't work that way. There's so many steps to leaving your house, getting on your surfboard, packing up the car, going out to the beach, so on and so forth, just to sit in the water and still wait.
Yeah.
Still wait. So it's like I can do all these things. I can analyze, but that doesn't mean that the move is coming to me when I want it. So there's times where I've been, you know, in my trading session and I'm like, okay, I analyze this and I'm waiting for price to hit my entry. And that might not happen until tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that I'm just sitting there all day and I'm like, all right, well, now I don't even want to leave because the moment I turn my eyes off of this, then it's going to happen. So then, you know, once again, patience, just waiting for that setup to come and get me, waiting for that wave to come and get me.
Yeah, that's I really like. I haven't heard it explained in that way. And I think that, I mean, that's just the nature of it, really. When it comes to you, you took Q's course. After you took Q's course, where would you say that your skill set, mindset kind of developed into? Did you feel like you were kind of graduating to the next level a bit in terms of at least knowing now, like, what to do? Now it comes down to implementation?
You know what?
Or where were you after that?
Here's the thing. I did someone else's course at the same time as Q's, and I think because I was burned with that one guy, and you know he kind of looked like me and everything else, and I think because I got his course, I felt as though that I needed to buy two at the same time and compare, and I had to go through both of them because I'm like, you know, it was almost like a kid, like, hey, I'm gonna go ask mom, but then mom said, no, I'm gonna go and, you know, see what dad got to say. I did the same thing because I was like, nah, I'm not getting ripped off by anybody else again. So I was comparing both courses for a while, and I think that was a huge problem because I was trying to compare information to sift through instead of just trusting the teacher. I had to trust the teacher, trust their particular outlook and their strategy. And I see it's a problem with even my students. They want to get everybody's course and they want to create some type of super strategy. So, that was like a pit stop in my journey where it's like, I'm not making any progress because I'm trying to create a super strategy by saying, hey, I have cues. Let me get that guys. Let me get this guys. Let me get this guys. And I'm going to put them all together. I'm going to do better than all of them. And it's like, that is the dumbest thing. Like, come on, bro. That is the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
So it was really, I hurt myself almost because I started to make progress. But then I'm like, all right, well, if I'm making progress, that means I should continue to try to do what this guy's doing and this guy, blend them all together. And then I started to, find bad habits. I made bad habits because this guy, he trades this way. That guy trades this way. And to me, they're both right. Obviously they're both right because they're both making money. Yeah, technically.
Both two things can be true at once.
Exactly.
Right?
Even though they're total opposites, they can both be true.
Exactly. Would you say that if you could go back in time, I'm sure you wouldn't change a thing because it's ultimately gotten you to where you are. But I know that that's a struggle when it comes to a lot of traders is we call it strategy hopping, or from going from one place and thinking, this isn't giving me what I want it to give me, so I'm going to go learn from this person. But then you learn that, well, that person, again, two things can be true at once. You're learning two things, and it's depending on how you're looking at both of those things that they can be true at the same time. Would you? And I know that there's someone watching this that's probably going through that currently right now, and they're like, why am I not passing a challenge? Why am I failing challenges over and over again? Would you make that recommendation to stick with one?
Absolutely. And I think we look so much into what these people have that we don't understand. Do we relate to them, and do I want the life that they have? Would I exchange places with this person today? And it's not about the cars, it's not about the houses, the jewelry, any of that stuff. It's literally, would I trade places with you? And I think if you would trade places with that person, that's the person that should be your mentor. That's the course you should buy. It's not about how much money they make because that's all relative anyway, based off of your spending habits,
Yeah.
So what's a lot to you may not be a lot to me, vice versa. So I just think, the strategy hopping and mentor hopping and all that other stuff, what that really is a lack of patience. And what that is saying, hey, well, I like what they have. And if I'm going to do both of them and see which one gets me there faster. So you're not actually committing. There's no commitment to doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's just you're playing yourself, essentially. Yeah. You're literally playing yourself. You're on a treadmill, running as fast as you can, losing all your breath, going nowhere.
Getting nowhere. You made a good point. I want to touch on when you initially were looking at trading as an option and understanding that this could be something that you could go into, and you were putting yourself out there, investing in courses, so on and so forth. At that point, what did you see as your end goal? Were you like, I want to do this so I'm able to, kind of hang up the reins of your security job? Or was it like, did you have this big and bright and beautiful vision for yourself? Like what was the end goal at that time? Because I'm sure maybe it's changed a little bit as you reach new levels, of course.
Oh my goodness. You know what? This is where my story kind of turns. It turns into, a destructive pattern, is because I finally said, I'm going to just stick to Q. I'm going to stick to Q and anyone who's in his immediate circle. So then when I did that, I started to I was hitting. And then I became funded with FTMO at the time. I got funded. And then I'm like, you know what? I have a $50,000 account. Let me go get a $100,000 account. I got that. At the time, they only allowed, I think, 400,000 total. So I was like, you know what? Let me get full allocation. I did that. And then now I'm getting payouts. And I'm like, yo, this is, I'm beasting.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, yo, I have a $50,000 account. I'm going to throw heavy lots. I can't lose. I can't lose at all. So at this time, I'm running my security agency. I'm trading while I'm like driving. At the time I had like police cars or whatever. So I have the laptop. I'm sitting there and I'm checking all my employees, but I'm sitting there trading in the middle of the night, London session, and I couldn't lose at all. You couldn't tell me nothing. So at this point, I'm like, why am I doing this with my security company? I'm sitting here like talking about freedom and preaching freedom and everything else, but then I'm still up at 3 a.m. checking up on these nightclubs and stuff like that, trying to trade and everything else. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So then at that point, I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to cut the security company. That's the end goal, is to get out of this mess. And, you know, as hypocritical as it sounds, like I'm talking about freedom while employing people, keeping them as slaves. So I didn't like that at all. I'm like, you basically work for me in 9 to 5, but then I'm over here on Instagram talking about some, yo, freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I felt like I
Yeah.
was living a double life. So that became my main goal, is let me close this company down. I got to get rid of this. And then I was hitting. The moment I closed this company down, that's when COVID came.
Okay.
So then I'm like, oh my God, I used to be making just income passively like this from the
Yeah.
business. Now it's all up to me and my trading. And now I'm stressed out because the world is shut down. So now I'm like, I'm losing. And I'm just like, wait a minute, maybe I just got lucky, and I was just, you know, in the beginning, like you said, maybe that sophomore year, the junior year, you start to get hot and then you feel invincible. I felt like there was no such thing as, you know, price hitting my stop loss. There was absolutely, my price was not hitting the stop loss. Couldn't tell me nothing, bro. I was trading like this. I'm just like this. Couldn't tell me nothing. And then it hit me, and then reality was just like, bro, you a single dad. What are you doing? You sitting up here just throwing trades away, throwing money away. I started to blow up these accounts. And at that point, I was like, yo, I just blew up $400,000 in allocation from FTMO. You know what I mean? After getting all these crazy payouts, and, you know, now I'm lit. I'm getting all these clothes and everything else. And I'm like, yo, I'm living a good life. But now this is for real. This is for real. The world is shut down. There is no going back to the security company. And I tried. I
Okay.
tried to go back to the security company. I tried to get another contract, and nobody wanted to work.
Oh.
The problem is no one wanted to come to work. So now I was scared, because I'm like, damn, like that was like a fallback. You know, I just thought I can go right on back over there. I can just hire some people real quick. And then now I'm making passive income again off of other people being a slave. And that wasn't even working. So basically that was God saying, nah, bro, you wanted this. You asked for
Yeah.
it. Now it's yours. So I was like, all right, now I got to go back to the books, because it's like, I got so stressed out. I felt like I forgot how to trade, because I was just like, wait a minute, like it was so easy before. Maybe I didn't truly understand what it is that I was doing, and I was just, you know, in some type of trance, and I was just going through the motions.
Yeah, in a flow, going through the motions, or, you know, I think luck was on your side. You had that on your side at that time, and kind of like how the market goes through different, you know, trading conditions, we go through different conditions, right? And so a good condition for you was that point in time, and then I hate to, you know, rule it good or bad, but maybe a less fortunate condition for you was at that time back against the wall, and then that's when you're called to now implement some of the things you've been studying, like risk management, psychology. Like, what are these other elements of trading that are very present, that need to be present? How can I pull those out of my playbook now? Because now psychology is going to come in like tenfold at this point, because I need it more than anything, because of, you know, life doubling down on you at that moment in time. How would you say that or what role did psychology play in you being in that certain point in your life?
Well, you know what? All of these bigger mentors out there at the time said, you need multiple sources of income. And here I am being a knucklehead freshman, like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't need So I got rid of a very strong and healthy, you know, income
Yeah.
to play a game. Because to me, it was just a game. I was doing it, but it wasn't like serious. I was doing it kind of like recreationally, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna put on the PlayStation and I'm gonna just make some money. That's how I treated it. So I noticed the reason why I was throwing heavy lots and I was just kind of trading recklessly and I was winning is because I had that income. So then I realized, well, now that I don't have that income, that's what's playing on my psychology, and now I'm forced to make that trade happen. Whereas before, it's like it didn't matter if it happened or not. So now I'm like, I'm in drawdown and I'm good. I'm like, man, I don't even care. If you're going to hit my stop loss, you're going to hit my stop loss. I'm going to sit here and hold it and watch what happens. And it was like me, like it was testing my psychology and like my balls. It was like, yo, you gonna hold this trade or not? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna hold this trade. And then, you know, when I didn't have that income on the side, then it was just like, ooh, I don't know. So then what I started to do is I closed out the trades when it was getting into drawdown. And then I'm just like, damn, like I'm losing so much money, but it's not because I'm hitting stop loss. It's because I'm giving the money to the market.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm constantly blowing these challenges because I'm giving money to the market because now I'm scared to lose. Once I figured that out, I was like, whoa, I need other sources of income. So let me get back to the drawing board and figure out how I can get other sources of income and then use trading as a supplement. Trading should, in my opinion, should not be the only thing that you have. And at the time, since it forced me to, like you said, focus on the risk management, focus on being more patient, because at the time I was not patient. Any setup that came my way, I'm taking it. I don't care. And then I figured out that, no, there's different classifications for setups. This is an A+ setup, and this is a D- setup. A D- setup, I shouldn't even go nowhere near. An F setup, I shouldn't even forcefully make it happen. And that's what I was doing because I was desperate to make money. And, you know, I kind of got out of that, and I realized, you know what? Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. I can make more money taking less trades and making sure that they're A+ setups, and that's what got me out of the hole. But it was so hard to do that. That was like,
it was hard to make that transition.
Yeah,
You'd say?
Yeah, because I felt like, okay, I need the money, and I have the opportunity to trade because I can do whatever I want whenever I want. 24/5, you could do whatever you want. And I was like, well, I need it now. I need to do this right now. So I basically was trying to tell the market, give me money, and the market was like, nah, work for it. And I was like, I don't want to. So, you know, I got beat up. And even in my program, I call it the psychology portion. Don't let the market beat you up.
Yeah. I mean, you're just sharing a lot of really, really good pieces that I hope people are taking away, because up until, I want to say definitely over summer, maybe a little bit later than that, majority of these prop firms had time limits. So 30 days max, not even 30 trading days, 35 trading days, whatever the case may be, minimum of 4 to 5 to 10 trading days, depending on which firm you go through. And that was forcing people to show up to the markets and forcefully taking trade setups because of this dooming time limit.
Yep.
And I mean, at the end of the day, what I believe that did, it just did not create good habits for these traders, right? They're over leveraging. They're taking D, F setups because they're like, I have 2 days left of this challenge, and I'm 3% away from the profit goal, and I'm not able to accomplish that. But now, majority, if not all, of prop firms, top tier, has unlimited trading days. So it's inviting you to become a better trader. Absolutely. At the end of the day. It's inviting you to follow your trading rules, right? You only have to take A+ setups and you can still pass your challenge.
Oh my goodness.
What a gift.
Yeah.
Like, what a gift. And so I think what this is shifting into and the different rules that that firms are coming out with, again, it's just allowing them and inviting them. I like to use the word inviting because you can choose to over leverage or not, right? It's inviting you to become a better trader at the end of the day. Would you say that when you were in a position, you were forced to make money, obviously we know how that ended up, and then you kind of shifted gears, did you get an additional stream of income to supplement that to kind of help with your psychology? Okay. What else did you do? And would you say that was kind of your turning point in your trading in general for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you touched on something important. That was major, and that's something that I've been fighting for a while, is to get prop firms to remove that limitation, because it was 35 days, 40 days, and then a minimum of like 5 days or 7 days, whatever the case may be. I'm like, I have this block that I have to hurry up and race myself in. I have to race myself. I have to make this happen. And you get FOMO because you're like, if I'm not able to get these moves by the halfway point, now I need to speed it up to make it happen, or else now I lost my money on just trying to get the challenge in the first place. And a lot of times they weren't really giving you a redo just like that, or you had to pay a small fee. And I'm just like, you know what, that's going to get costly. So then you kind of feel mentally rushed. So then you're taking these random setups. And then at the same time, I think most prop firms, when they have the minimum amount of days, that's almost saying hurry up and do it in this amount of time too. So it's like on both ends, you're rushed on the short end and on the long end. And it's like you have to make something happen feeling like overnight because you feel like tomorrow and next week doesn't exist. For some reason, I don't even know why that is. As soon as you get that challenge, you're like, all right, and you just start acting crazy. It's just like, damn, dog, like nothing's going on.
Like nothing has changed.
Nothing changed. Like, all you did was get a challenge. They sent you the confirmation to your email. Now you're like, gotta trade, gotta trade. And it's like, bro, calm down. It's like people will literally place a trade the moment they get the credentials. And it's like, stop.
Yeah. You're bringing that up, and I'm human. I'm not immune to these things. Like, you saying that kind of struck a chord with me. I'm like, okay, you're right. But I know you started off trading your own capital. Mm-hmm. And when did you make the shift into trading with prop firms? And I know you started off with FTMO, but what was that journey like for you? Because it's a lot different than trading your own capital in terms of the parameters, at least.
I traded for, I want to say, maybe 8 months before I even knew what a prop firm was. I didn't even know that they were out there. So like, that's not even something I heard about until I noticed that there was people like trading on Instagram and stuff like that. And then it just kind of stumbled upon me. I guess the algorithm got me, and they were just like, oh, you're a trader? Oh, you want to be an FTMO trader? And I was just like, well, it's FTMO. And it just the ads kept coming and coming. And I was like, all right, let me look into this. And then I was like, you're going to give me $200,000 and all I got to do is just, man, you stupid. I'm doing that. And then obviously I just threw money in the garbage for a little while. But when I first started trading my own funds, you're right. There's no rules. I can just do whatever I wanted to do. So that was a huge turning point because nobody at the time, or at least that I knew of, was talking about how to pass prop firms specifically in their program. I've never heard of that in a course. People were just like, yo, risk management. Yeah, you manage your risk, trade, whatever. But there is an art form to trading prop firms. And, when you're trading your own funds, you can literally do whatever you want, how you want. So it's a little bit different. I'm trading someone else's money, and you have to think about it that way. How would I trade someone else's money? It's not mine to lose. So once I adopted that mindset, I was like, okay, this is not mine. I get a cut. This is a job. I have to treat this like a business. With my own money, I'm just like, well, if I lose it, I lose it. But how would I feel if I'm a client and someone lost my money? Like, obviously, risk disclosure, you sign whatever, but you're still going to be hurt if someone's trading on your behalf and losing your money. So I was like, you know what? This is a business. The profit target is 8%, and I have 45 days to make 8%. Therefore, I could literally make, 2% a week. 2% a week. That alone changed my entire world because I'm like, bro, I can make 2% a week and literally let me find one decent trade setup and just hit a 2-to-1. Let me just hit a 2-to-1, maybe a 2.5 to 1, maybe a 3 to 1 on just one setup, maybe a week, and I'm good. Instead of trading every single day trying to find everything. And I was just like, you know what? I have to learn to take it slower and just follow rules and then make rules for myself. So then I started to write down, okay, I'm going to trade X amount of times, and I dissected the trade setup. So every setup, I'm like, well, why was this setup a loser? Why was this setup a winner? And then what can I do to duplicate this one instead of that one? And I think a lot of people don't necessarily do that. They just be like, yo, I'm just going to make money. I'm just going to take any setup. But they're unable to identify what setups actually look like as far as risk to reward. That is a major thing. Risk to reward, you can have a 40 or 50% win rate, but then have a really crazy risk to reward and then be an extra profitable trader.
And I hope I'm taking key notes in my own brain. I hope you're taking notes in terms of this conversation. If you're someone who is looking to maybe you just bought a challenge. Maybe you're in the middle of a challenge right now, and you feel like you're at a crossroads. You're winning, you're losing. You're winning, you're losing. I think that a key element that you touched on there is journaling, getting an idea of why was this a loser? Did I follow my rules, or did I deviate from the plan, and that's why it resulted in a loss? But really understanding the trades you're taking, why you're taking those trades, will help you in cultivating a quote unquote winning strategy, whatever that specifically looks like for you, which I think is really, really important. And a lot of people, to your point, just want to make money, but don't understand, okay, I need to create some structure for myself, some guidelines, some boundaries for myself. It's really funny that most people, myself included, want to maybe be more entrepreneurial for the freedom aspect, going to trading for the freedom aspect. And then you have all of this newfound freedom, and then you have to create some rules, some boundaries for yourself, because that's where true freedom lies, is when you're actually able to abide by the rules that I think what's different is that you set the rules, right? Versus someone else setting the rules and you following the rule. It's like, I set the rules, which, again, double-edged sword, because you can also easily break the ruls because you're the ones. Yeah, you're
Who's
the one.
Who's enforcing them? You.
Exactly.
You gonna let them things slide?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm at risk 3% today.
Yeah. Now that you've gained some experience within prop firm, I want to touch on. We talked about this a little bit in the very beginning before we even started recording, but. For me, a goal of mine is to be able to leverage these prop firms that are such a tool that so many people up until a few years ago did not have access to, right? It's a tool that we're able to leverage to then build out hopefully something more beautiful, and something maybe that's our own personal account even, but being able to leverage these accounts. What was your goal when trading prop firms? Kind of how has that transpired into what you're doing now?
You know what? I think it's very important to look at prop firms as a tool and not like a long-term career type of thing. You know, some people may not like that, but it is what it is. I think it's very important to use them for what they are, because obviously when Q and Anthony, all the other guys were up and coming, that didn't even exist. So it's just like they had to really go through the mud to get here, and it's like we have such great tools to get us somewhere else. It's like the fast track. If you use it right, it could take you as far as you want to go, especially with the huge accounts that they have now, and some of them even like top tier, they let you buy multiple 300K accounts, and it's like, dude, like that's a lot of money. Even if you do 8% a month on both of those, that's life-changing money. You do that for a couple of months, then you put that money in your own broker, and then now the sky is the limit. You can use the same exact rules, you know, for the most part, and that's what people deviate from. And then, you know, they don't really implement the rules. They just treat it like a casino. And I know people, I'm gonna get this profit, at least if let me get one payout, and then now they're back at square one, and then they get jammed up. But I think, like you said, treating it like a business, creating rules for yourself, and then leveraging this to do other things. I mean, you could literally start a whole entire other business that has nothing to do with trading from a payout. And people don't have a plan outside of trading. Like, to some people, trading is everything that exists. And, you know, I watch my mentors very closely. Trading is a means to an end. And then once it's a means to an end, it turns into a hobby. And that's a big thing. It turns into a hobby where you might be a funded trader. Okay, I got my payouts. Now I take these payouts, I put them in my own broker. That's my big boy, you know, play money. But then at the same time, I'm going to come back over here and just trade every once in a while when I feel like it. And then that's where you get those AA plus setups. And now you can risk a little bit more because you're taking less frequent setups. And people need to realize, okay, this is stash. This is a stash, money in the bank. Let me just take 2 setups a month after I'm funded. And you can still make 20, 30, 40 bands a month just taking a couple of really good setups. And now they even removed some of the rules where you can just hold a trade overnight. You can get the Top Tier Challenge Plus account where it's like you can hold them over the weekend. Or now it's like, yo, there's absolutely no rush.
Yeah.
You know, I can just let that money build up while I'm doing something else. And for instance, what I like to do is I treat the Top Tier account like this is my bills money. I got to be structured with this. And then now over here with my actual broker, I can do whatever I want. That's my play money. So if I want to be reckless over here, then I can be reckless over here, but I can't be reckless over here at top tier. I cannot do that. That's how I pay the bills. That's how I do the important stuff. Over here, I could do whatever I want with that within reason.
Right.
Within reason.
Within
you know,
reason.
Within reason.
Yeah, I even think the rules of the prop firms, again, it invites you to be a better trader in terms of max daily drawdown, max overall drawdown. I think it allows for us to kind of, some people will say pigeonhole or keep you in a box, but put me in that box for now so I can build the habits and the discipline that it takes to not be losing, 10% on a single trade as I'm just getting started out.
Oh my
you
God.
know what I mean? So it just allows for you to develop this skill. I want to ask just a few more questions in regards to, I'm sure people are interested in either the largest payout that you've received from a prop firm and or like your biggest trade that you can draw back to.
So biggest trade on a prop firm or off prop firm?
Let's do both.
Okay, biggest trade total was $380,000 on a personal, on my own broker, on GJ. G-Bay. So that was in 2020. Okay. $380,000. And as soon as I closed out that trade, I literally picked up my daughter early from school, just went straight to Disney World. I didn't even... Listen, I'm like, yo, we out. We
Everyone
out
wins.
Immediately. Immediately out of here. And because that was my biggest win at the time, I didn't really feel like it was that real at all because I'm like, wait a minute. No, there ain't no way. Stop playing. Stop playing. I did all this hard work with the security company and this, that, and the other. Obviously, I made a lot of money with the company, but it was like so much groundwork that had to happen. And it's like for this, I just had to practice proper risk management and be patient. And it's like, are you kidding me? All I had to do was just sit on my hands and wait for the right moment to press that button. And then be patient and let it ride out and not try to like interrupt the trade. Just let it ride. Trust your analysis. So that $380,000, I was just like, yo, this is too good to be true. And then once I made that withdrawal and the crypto hit, I was like, stop playing. And side note, that made me lazy because I was like, yo, I just made all this money. Now I can chill. Now I can relax. And I developed a habit of every time I make a big payout, I kind of just like disappear and just chill. And I feel like, you know what? I want to have the freedom now, and then now I have the freedom and then I'm like, all right, well, time to get back to work, But that was the biggest thing that I've had happen to me. And I feel like that changed my entire life because now it was real. Before it was like, okay, 10,000, 20, 70, 80. And even with, at the time, it was 2019, my biggest win in one day was 153,000. In a day, I did that on US 30, and later that day, I actually saw that Q hit the same exact short on US 30, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. I hit the same one as my mentor. Yeah, damn it, I'm in here. So, I cried. Yeah. I cried that day, and I was, like, live on Instagram and everything else. I was like, damn, like, this is real. Like, this is crazy. So, both of those, instances, it really like molded me and changed my life. But I over risked a lot. I over leveraged a lot to make that happen on those accounts. So on a prop firm, 75,000 and some change was my biggest payout. Amazing. And for me at the time, I'm like, yo, you have to understand the amount of rules that I had to go through to get here. That's totally different than risking whatever it is that I want over here. Totally. Because I had to be like corporate over here. I couldn't be, jamming to whatever. I had to really like make sure I was doing it. So I think it hit harder for me to get that type of payout on a prop firm because I'm like, I had to really practice risk management. I had to do it the right way. Yeah. And after I did it the right way there, I was like, you know what? I can do that same thing over here and grow this capital, and it's going to be the exact same, but now it's mine, and I can withdraw however much I want to. I don't have to split this with nobody, and I can get it immediately. I don't have to ask for it and wait and everything else like that. So that $75,000 was honestly way more important to me than the other money was, because for a long time, I just felt like I didn't deserve it. It wasn't real. It was chance. I was lucky. I caught a really nice move. You know what I mean? I felt like there was so many circumstances that led to that quote unquote success that I didn't take a lot of credit for all of it. There was outside circumstances, but I know I had to grind it out for that payout in a prop firm. That was the real deal for me. And to successfully get that payout in my hand, I was like, oh no, this is too real now. Now I'm in the game now. Now I can do this anytime, anywhere, any place, because I did it with rules. I didn't just do it however I wanted to just because I saw like a bullish engulfing candle and I'm just like, slap. You know, no, it's like I had to be patient and actually get it. So that was huge. I celebrated that a little bit harder than I did the other ones, because I was like, man, give me my money.
Yeah, congratulations. That's amazing. And
Thank you.
Again, it just goes back to like this, like that reality for you is so expanding for even me personally, and I'm sure so many people that are watching this interview as well, knowing that with time, with dedication, right, with discipline, with not only sticking to it, but just taking the right steps, you can get to that point. You can get to that level. And I think one of the best things of these interviews is really, dissecting what it took for you to get to that point, because however many minutes ago we were chatting about, losing upwards of six figures before you even really got your foot in the game. Yeah. And so I just think it's really incredible. And again, just want to say congratulations for that, because that's really awesome. I want to leave off of just one question. Again, there's tons of people who are tuning into this and are like, Chris looks like me, he sounds like me, he walks like me, he talks like me, and I'm not there yet. What one piece, if you could, compile your years of experience into one piece of solid, tangible advice that person who's watching this right now can go away and implement it, have it be a skill, have it be a mindset shift, whatever that is?
You know what? For me, I think if I could tell my, younger self or past self, you got to stop messing around with people who are going to tap into your mind and make you question yourself. That's been the biggest thing, is being around the wrong individuals. Like for me, honestly, it was my family. My family was like, no, trading is a scam. You're never going to be able to do this. That's not going to work. All it is a pyramid scheme. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's this, it's that. And unfortunately for me, I had to distance myself from my family in order to make these things happen. And the reason why I'm saying is because I get so many messages on Instagram like, hey, my girlfriend doesn't believe in it. My mom doesn't believe in it. My brother, my whole family doesn't believe in it. And they want me to get a regular job. They want me to do this, but this is my passion. This is my dream. And I know it's possible. And I'm like, you know what? Strap up, because it's about to be a bumpy ass ride, because you have to believe in you, because no one else is going to believe in you. Not your mom, not your dad, your sister, your cousin, your brother, your uncle, whatever. They're not going to believe it until you do it. The thing is, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you can. I'm going to. Every single day, I told myself in the mirror, brushing my teeth, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it happen. I will do this. There's no other option. So even at Thanksgiving dinner, when I told my family, hey, I'm going to stop my security company, going to do this and that, they was like, nah, it's not going to happen. So I had to cut them off for a couple years, because I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I said to my mom, to everybody, I am going to be $1 million day trader. And they're like, no, you're not. It's not going to work out. And I said, you know what? Watch me. I'm not coming back here, and I'm not talking to none of y'all until I do. And I will come back and say, I told you so. Maybe that was a little too far. Don't do that to your moms now. But I did that. And I literally came back with $1 million account and said, look, I told you so. And then they, they didn't want to talk to me after that. So sorry, mom, I love y'all. But you know what I mean? Like, but it got like that. I had to choose me. And I felt like if I were choosing me, then I was abandoning my family. And to some extent, I had to, leave them where they were to go off on this journey by myself. So don't be scared to go on that journey by yourself. Do not be scared. You have your own back, and you have to trust yourself on and off the charts. So that was my biggest thing, is trusting myself and blocking out the interference from everybody else who didn't understand and didn't believe in it. But once you get past that, sky's the limit.
We'll leave it at that. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm selfishly, I loving to conduct these interviews because I'm taking so many mental notes in my head. I've learned a lot through this conversation. I know those watching have also learned a lot through this conversation. So thank you so much, Chris. Let everyone know where they can find you online.
At Mr. DeStefano on every platform. I made sure to get that handle, Mr. DeStefano.
Okay, great. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, make sure to like and subscribe so you can continue to witness and to view and extract all of the value that we're bringing on these top tier interviews. See you next time.
All right, guys.